Good evening friends, you are most welcome to Civil Affairs channel. Today we are going to discuss Social Anthropology by MAAN IGNOU, MANE003, Comparative Ethnography. And our topic is Block 5, Religion and Rituals. Unit 12 we will discuss Sacred Knowledge, Ethnography 1, Religion and Society among the Coorgs of South India by M.N. Srinivas, Ethnography 2, Death in Banaras by Jonathan P. Perry, Unit 2 Performative Aspect in Rituals, Ethnography 1 The Forest of Symbols, Aspect of and Dambu Rituals by Victor Turner, and Ethnography 2 The Religion of Java by Clifford Geertz. Unit 3 Religious Movement and Religious Conflicts, Ethnography 1 Iran from Religious Dispute to Revolution by Charles Fisher, Ethnography 2 Religious Division and Social Conflict The Emergence of Hindu Nationalism in Rural India by Peggy Froerer. Introduction part. This lesson will introduce you to the aspect of religion and ritual. Religion is defined after Emile Durkheim as a unified set of beliefs and practices concerning the object that are set apart and forbidden, common to all religious systems of the world, irrespective of the scale of the society. There is a belief in the existence of the sacred world of the supernatural powers in which the people have faith, believing that these entities exercise power over their affairs. The first unit comprises the ethnographies written by a British anthropologist Jonathan Parry and an Indian sociologist M.N. Srinivas, whilst Parry's work is concerned with a study of death rituals and the specialist concerned with the performance of the last rites and the business of the death. Srinivas' book is a study of the Coorgs of Karnataka. Chapters in Parry's book were delivered as Lewis Henry Morgan Memorial Lectures. Parry's work is also a comment on the nature of Hindu hierarchy and the place of renouncers, sannyasi, in it. He takes up Louis Dumont thesis for a critical examination according to which by renouncing the world a Hindu becomes an individual. If Parry is concerned with an interpretation of Hindu death rituals, Srinivas, who earned his doctoral degree from Oxford under the supervision of A.R. Radcliffe Brown, is mainly concerned with the functions of rituals. The second unit comprises the ethnographies on the Dambu of Zambia by Victor Turner and on the Javanese by Clifford Geertz. Turner's work is a contribution to the symbolic understanding of rituals, comprising 10 essays. Turner's book shows the robustness of rituals in the Dambu society, which, like the society of the Trobrianders, is matrilineal and very local. The distinction Turner drew between dominant and instrumental symbols is of great significance. Geertz' emphasis is on understanding a society that has a plurality of religious streams. In Java, Geertz found the coexistence of three religious communities: the Muslim, the Hindu Buddhist, and the animist. He analyzes the ideological conflicts that take place between these communities. In this context, he would recapitulate that Durkheim thesis is applicable to those situations where there is singularity of the religion. In the last unit, the first ethnography is on Iran. In this, Michael M.J. Fisher draws upon his rich fieldwork with the religious personnel, mullah, and their students in the holy city of Qom. He composes a picture of the Iranian society from inside, the lives of the ordinary people, the way each class interprets Islam, and the role of religion and religious education in the formation of culture. In the second ethnography, Peggy Fourier is concerned with the transmission of Hindu nationalist ideas by members of the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh RSS to the tribal communities Adivasis. The book also examines the impact of all this on the relations between Christians and Hindus. Based on a fieldwork lasting 2 years in Chhattisgarh, she argues that the Hindutva ideology has penetrated into the everyday lives of tribal groups. Though this movement has received a setback at the national level, it seems to have gained strength in states with large tribal populations. Unit 1, Sacred Knowledge Introduction. Then we will discuss theoretical part of which the ethnography, religion and society among the Coorgs of South India is an example. Then we will discuss description of the ethnography, intellectual context, fieldwork, analysis of data, then conclusion. After that we will discuss how does the ethnography advance our understanding. Next part will be the theoretical part of which the ethnography Death in Banaras is an example. Description of the ethnography, intellectual context, fieldwork, analysis of data, then conclusion. How does the ethnography advance our understanding? At the last we will discuss the summary part. Learning objectives are after reading this unit you will be able to learn about the various forms of religious practices in India, the relation between society and religion, the rites of passage, the priestly categories, and how sacred is constructed in India. Introduction part. To understand the concept of sacred knowledge, we will focus on the ethnographic works Religion and Society Among the Coorgs of South India by M.N. Srinivas and Death in Banaras by Jonathan P. Parry. For this unit, Coorg is a tiny mountainous province in the South India, bounded on the north and the east of Mysore state and on the west and south Canara and Malabar district of Madras Presidency, that is the Chennai part of India. The isolation and inaccessibility of Coorg, with the steep mountains, dense forest and heavy rainfall, contributes to the maintenance and elaboration of the distinctive mode of life and culture of Coorgs. Under British rule, the existing roads were improved and new ones were built. Nowadays, buses run regularly on all the main roads connecting different parts of Coorg with each other and Coorg with their neighbors. Yet even now no railway line passes through Coorg, and this restricts the amount of contact it has with the rest of India. Most people in Coorg live in villages, either themselves cultivating or supervising the cultivation of land. All the important languages spoken in Coorg are Dravidian, with the exception of Hindustani and English. Coorgs make use of Kannada script on those occasions when they wish to reduce Kodagi into writing. Educated Coorgs are usually trilingual, knowing Kodagi, Kannada, and English. Kodagi is used at home, Kannada in talking to most non-Coorg accepting Malayalis, and English in official matters and occasionally in conversation with strangers. English is popular with Coorgs, and women, especially under 30, have some acquaintance with it. Theoretical part of which the ethnography, religion and society among the Coorg of South India is an example. Srinivas' work of 1952 is one of the best contributions to an understanding of how the structural functional approach may be used for understanding the ritual and social life of people. Incidentally, the data for this work was collected in the late 1930s and the early 1940s, and on this Srinivas has already written a doctoral thesis at Oxford under the masterly supervision of A.R. Radcliffe Brown, the founder of the structural functional approach. Srinivas reanalyzed the Coorg data and prepared a piece of work which endeavored to answer the questions: what does ritual do? What is the contribution of ritual to society? It was in this work that there occurred the concept of Sanskritization. Earlier, the concept of Brahmanization was replaced, although in later writings Srinivas elaborated upon the concept of Sanskritization. It was in this work the concept was given along with an elaboration upon the case of the upper mobility of the Kurds. Description of the ethnography intellectual context. When Srinivas came to the scene, Indological studies and the studies of text to understand India had, had precedence upon field-based study. The detailed accounts of communities lacked theoretical sophistication. Srinivas' work was not only fieldwork based but was also an application of a theoretical approach for analyzing the data. The first work he did was submitted for a doctorate under the supervision of Professor G.S. Ghurye, which was a fine combination of the Indological and sociological approaches. Then, under the supervision of Professor A.R. Radcliffe Brown, Srinivas reanalyzed his data using the functional approach, and the result was this book. Fieldwork, first-hand fieldwork was carried out, with the Coorgs using standard anthropological techniques and methods. Srinivas spent a long time with the Coorgs to know their culture from inside. He combined the empirical data with the historical. Analysis of data social structure. The existence of the subdivisions among Coorg does not prevent them from regarding themselves and from being regarded by others as a single group. Kurds consider themselves to be Kshatriyas, who constitute the caste of rulers and soldiers in traditional hierarchy and rank next only to the Brahmins, who are priests and scholars. Coorg formed a compact unit in relation to other castes. They possessed wealth and power. They liked dancing and competitive games involving the exercise of skill and strength, hunting and soldiering. In the Vedic and classical caste system, these virtues are attributed to Kshatriyas, the caste of warriors and kings, who are the next to Brahmins in hierarchy. The resemblance between the Kurds and the Vedic Kshatriyas are striking indeed in the matter of values, and it is understandable that Coorg should regard themselves as Kshatriya. The classical Kshatriya, as one of the three twice born caste, were entitled to perform certain rituals at which sacred verses, mantras from the Vedas were recited by the priest, but the cooks do not perform any of these rituals, and Vedic mantras are not recited when a cook is given a name or marries or dies. Kurds, like other caste Hindus, object very strongly to eating of beef, and the strength of their objection was early recognized by the British, who banned all slaughter of cattle for the table in Coorg in 1835. But the Coorg dietary includes pork and liquor, and this is occasionally singled out for comment by other castes. The correlation between status and dietary practices is particularly strong in the interior of South India, and the Coorg claim to be considered as Kshatriyas come up against this fact. Coorgs rightly point out that the Rajput of North India eat pork, and this has not prevented them from being generally regarded as Kshatriyas. However, Rajputs eat only wild pig and not the domesticated one. There are mainly 40 castes and tribes in Coorg, but Coorgs come into intimate contact with the few of them. The nuclear unit of the Coorg society is the Okka or the patrilineal joint family, and only the male members of the Okka of an Okka have any rights in the ancestral estate. Women born in Okka leave it on marriage, while the women who come into it by marriage have extremely limited rights in the ancestral estate. No women may be head of an Okka. A Coorg proverb says, "A woman may not be the head of an Okka, and a bitch may not be given a share of the game it helps to kill in a hunt." Only sons can continue the Okka, but when there is no sons, a daughter or a widow of a dead son is married in either the Okka Parije or Makka Parije, any which has the effect of granting the children of either form of union membership of their mother's natal Okka. If it is not possible to perpetuate the Okka in either of these ways, a boy from another Okka is adopted. There is sexual division of labor, men generally doing the work outside the house while women do the work inside. The tasks done by men are in a vague way regarded as superior to those done by women. The men cultivate or supervise the cultivation of land by low caste laborers. However, agriculture is not and has never been their sole occupation. The army has always attracted cooks, and nowadays educated cooks are to be found in every profession. Coorg women's activities are on the whole confined to the house. Cook's women's activities are on the whole confined to the house. They cook food for the 20 or 30 members of the Okka. They look after children and servants, the storing of food, the raising of pigs and fowls, and so on. The younger women have to bring water from the domestic pond or well and carry manure in reed baskets of the fields to the fields. Women are expected to observe a sti- stricter code of conduct than men. Stricter code of conduct than men. Different ideals are held up for men and women. Strength, skill in fighting and hunting, and courage are admired in a man. A proverb states, "Man should die on the battlefield and women should die in childbed." The killer of a tiger or panther and mother of 10 children were both accorded the honor of Mangala ceremony. But nowadays, under the influence of the Western ideas, the Coorg women are once again coming to the fore. Education is more widely spreading among Coorg women than among the women of other castes, including Brahmins. They are nurses, teachers, and doctors and do not hesitate to live outside Coorg. The economic position of Coorgs and the fact that they marry comparatively late are some of the factors responsible for the greater spread of education among Coorg women. Membership of the Okka is extremely important, and lack of membership in some Okka are other tantamounts to social extinction. Elders consequently try hard to see that the children of extramarital alliance get birthed somewhere. It is right and proper that the father of the children should secure them membership of his Okka, but if for some reason or the other he cannot be persuaded to do so, the children are made members of their mother's Okka. A NAD is a bigger unit than a village, and it is usually more homogeneous culturally than a larger area which include it and few other NADs. A NAD might differ from other NADs in the matter of date of observance of important festivals such as the Harvest Festival and the Festival of Arms. The article used in Harvest Festival rituals might also vary in different nets, and this is due to the fact that in each area the plants locally prolific are chosen to express a wish for growth. Thank you very much.